It's my second day in New York and I'm still feeling like I'm in a dream. I am jet lagged and somehow with the mixture of not sleeping and of seeing all these different sights, I feel almost like I'm in another world. The Guggenheim is like being in a spaceship to me. The spirals going around and around, somehow reminding me of the way my memories feel. I've been to New York during my childhood, during teenagehood, and during young adulthood, and somehow all three of these different decades of my life layer upon each other. When I'm in the city, I see myself as a child, taking in the wonders of New York for the first time, right before Christmas. It was so cold and I thought it was so magical. Everything felt like a wonderland to me. And when I went back as a teenager, I thought I was in a different place. This time, I remember all these different versions of myself and somehow I'm able to blend them together. It's almost like a collage. I saw young Picasso's artwork and it was pretty incredible to see the work he did in his early 20s. I was shocked to see his self-portrait of his 22-year-old self. It just looked completely unrecognizable from the way he saw himself as he got older. And seeing the place he came from kind of made me think about how much is revealed about our personalities, about our identities when we can go back and look at what we created throughout our whole lives. I was pretty amazed to then go and see this exhibition of children's artwork from different schools around New York City. It was actually the part of the whole museum that I found the most inspiring, and it just felt completely raw and real, and it made me think about what art is. I remember doing art as a child. It was my favourite thing to do. I would go to school and paint on an easel all day, every day, and there's something about that inhibition to create that you have when you're young that I really want to get back to. I've been thinking a lot about memory. How do we remember so much? Where do our memories get stored? Are they like art pieces in a museum in our brains? And how do we access them in just these moments? When I travel, I remember who I was before. I remember things that I used to care about that I forgot about. I remember all sorts of things, and these memories combined together, they form something new. Even walking through Central Park, I've done that every time I've been in New York, and somehow it feels the same every time and completely different. And Picasso has his famous quote where he says that he spent years learning how to paint and then his whole life learning how to paint like a child again. And there was so much in New York that kind of connected me to this kind of sentiment. I saw family friends and friends from when I was a child who have been huge parts of my life but I haven't seen in person in a long time. And I went to see a Georgia O'Keeffe exhibition with my family and friends at the MoMA museum, which was super inspiring too. Georgia O'Keeffe has long been one of my favourite artists, and her work has always spoken to me because of just the way she uses colours, the way her lines are unlike anyone else's, and I was pretty much in awe seeing her work up close, mesmerised by these works of art. It's so interesting to have experienced something as a child, and then as you get older, somehow the world in some ways just feels a lot more real, a lot more concrete around you, but there's this sparkle to childhood. I remember the sparkliness around me, this wonderful, magical kind of world that I felt I was in. And where does that go when we get older? I kept thinking about this when I was in New York, and I would get glimmers and glimpses of this kind of feeling again, of this wonder and amazement and awe, like seeing Georgia O'Keeffe and the children's work at the museum. It's nice to remind myself of that.